Francesca Albanese joins us. You are the UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories. You're live with us now from Tunis. And we're speaking to you in light of the arrest warrants that were issued by the International Criminal Court against the Israeli Prime Minister and his former defense minister. You tweeted yesterday a word, I think, that characterizes your reaction, which was euphoria. Can you explain?
Well, it was just a fragment of a second, because this is much waited for, longed for start of delivering justice. It lasted very little for one reason, because knowing how the genocidal violence that has been unleashed against the Palestinians in Gaza has worked, knowing how the genocidal army operates, I knew that it would turn even more ferocious and vicious against the Palestinians. And so it has been over the past 24 hours. The massacres that are reported having taken place in Gaza are countless. So, however, the decision to finally issue arrest warrants for three people, two of whom are the two leaders of the Israeli political landscape, is a pivotal moment in history. It marks, as I said, a long overdue step toward dismantling the decades-long impunity enjoyed by Israel. And I do see that there is the possibility to restore international law, looking at the reaction of many member states who say they will comply with the ICC arrest warrant, as it is expected. What is extremely worrisome is the reaction of another front, which is a minority one, but still very influential, like the United States, Hungary, my own country, and others, who remain staunch supporters of Israel, no matter what, and are denigrating the International Criminal Court.
Well, this is exactly what I was going to put to you. The world is now divided into two camps, really. Those that say 124 countries that have the obligation to arrest Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant if he ever comes to their country. Most of them say they would do it if pressed. And then you have the, not all, by the way, but most. And then you have the countries that are not party to the ICC. The U.S., of course, is the main one that comes to mind, that completely rejects this arrest warrant. In fact, I wanted to put to you the reaction of the U.S. President Joe Biden. He says, no matter what the ICC says, there is no moral equivalence, none, and this is a direct quote, between Israel and Hamas. Your thoughts on this response?
Look, the United States is the country which has passed the Invasion Act against the Hague in order to create a sort of a shelter, a barrier from any form of accountability. The US is not party to the Rome Statute, is a country who has risked to face justice because of international crimes it has partaken in, from Iraq to Afghanistan. And still, it's the most powerful country among the members, the 194 members of the General Assembly. So, sorry, it behaves like the sheriff in town. But I hope that this is a turning point for that. This system cannot hold on for a very long time. I think I'm less positive than you in the sense it's not just that the world is divided. The world is as fragmented as it has ever been in the past 75 years. But international law, which has been vituperated over the past 14 months like never before, is at a breaking point, and so the international multilateral order. So it's either about enhancing it and its protection, or it will break it, and it will be the end of the system that we have benefited from for the past 75 years.
So you're saying international law, as a result of what we're seeing now, is either going to be broken or reinforced. Which way do you think it'll end up going?
I don't have the crystal ball, but I want to believe that member states, out of a sense of self-preservation, will opt to steer away from mafia-style tactics of intimidation and embracement of illegality, and they will stick the path of international law, which is universal, and it applies to the strong and the weak, the rich and the poor. And the only way to make it effective is to make it universally respected. Again, it's going to be a tough ride. But this is why I call upon all citizens, especially in Western countries, to remind them that justice starts at home. It is the time to hold accountable anyone at the domestic level who has contributed, from policymakers to individuals, business, companies, charities, anyone who has contributed to foster and nurture the impunity that Israel has profited from. Because Palestine today is a metaphor of global injustice. And this is why resolving legally and in a principled manner the question of Palestine will bear testament to another way of dealing with international affairs, a principled way in line with international law.
You've been a UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories for a little over 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm wondering what you learned. Now, just a preface to this question. The Special Rapporteurs, I've come to learn, is a bit of a funny position within the UN, under the UN umbrella, right? Because what it means is you're actually an international law professor with a completely different career, but at some point you were picked by the UN, you have a small budget and almost non-existent team. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but you produce reports.
No, you're wrong.
Well, my understanding is you have like 1 or 2 people who work with you. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. No. You're wrong in the sense that it's absolutely not funny. It's a very painful and taxing responsibility.
Right.
It's honorary, as you said, and I have zero budget. In fact,
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is what people don't understand.
But it doesn't mean that there are no resources, and this is the secret. Because not only there is the United Nations who provides extremely good support, but also I benefit from a partnership with universities, and so I have everything I need to function.
But my question was going to be, having been inside the machinery of international law and under the umbrella of the UN for 2 years, what have you learned about the way our world works and about the way international justice and law work?
I think I am less positive about the real commitment of member states to the international system. I am more aware of the economic and financial dynamics that underpin the unjust world we belong to. But I'm also aware that there is a new generation in particular which doesn't want any of this, which is ready to stand for justice and in solidarity with other people, being the Palestinians or other discriminated people. And this is what gives me hope. I also know that there are opportunities and as much as challenges out there, but we need to focus on, being a popular front for justice from whatever paths we come from, being scholars, intellectuals, UN experts, or bureaucrats. Today, there is work to do for everyone, because today it's black on white. It's either with or against. Like, Primo Levi used to say that in a time of atrocities, the monsters are a few. The biggest problem comes from those who do not ask themselves a question and obey orders that lead to commit atrocities.
Well, we've spoken a few times, and I've always been meaning to ask you this question, so thank you for entertaining it. Francesca Albanese, UN Special Rapporteur on the occupied Palestinian territories. Thank you.
Thank you.